Hey guys,
He
what
did
is
not mean
up?
to say that about you.
Apparently, John Tad thinks because we don't stream for 1 week, he can just jump in and interrupt the intro. I don't know why John Tad thinks that, but he can't. So you can't talk anymore. I'm actually going to mute you for the whole stream. Guys, thank you so much for for watching.
Shaggy never overreacts, does he?
Never, ever. Watch episode 5 of HexTcgPro. Luckily for you guys, me and John are back from California. You don't have to listen to Charles and whoever those noobs were last week. So
Lucky you guys.
but anyway, we are back, and we're going to basically the whole purpose of the show is to talk about the HexCasters tournament, Streamers tournament, which we have once again special guest Frank. He's looking really good today. We may have had some problems with his webcam, but obviously they're fixed now. So actually, what he looks like.
Very close. It's my Facebook profile.
Sure. So anyway, Frank is here with us. We have, once again, above me, Mr. Charles. All right, he's looking good. And then over here, Mr. JT Tata. So,
I thought
he's
the
actually not
card
going
thing
to
was
talk
up
anymore.
already.
So, yeah. So basically, what we're going to do, we're going to go over the tournament. We're going into the semifinals for each of the pools starting this week. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. John did a very nice article on our website about it as well.
Great article.
Yeah, it was okay. Let's not give him too much.
No, it was great. I enjoyed it.
And,
Maybe a little too much.
Who drew my dad? I did, actually. That's I am an artist on my off. Like when I'm not doing casts, I'm an artist. I go to art school here in West Virginia. This is basically a senior level in West Virginia. So anyway, so all right, guys. Well, do you guys have anything to say before we get started? I know Charles usually have some gossipy stuff to talk about sometimes. So do you have anything?
Well, the big news this right now is the patch notes and the chain. Right now, I'm sure a lot of people have seen this. They changed it now so that the chain works differently, so that all triggers don't go on the stack, which basically makes them into state-based actions. And state-based actions, if you're not aware, are actions that happen without the stack's interaction. So basically, you cannot stop them. They happen. There's nothing you can do about it. Things of this nature are stuff like if you were to go down to 0 life, there's no coming back. You used to be able to come back. It went on the stack, damage went on the stack, and all this stuff, but not anymore. So they basically took all of the triggered actions, like Wild Root Dancer, for instance. Whenever it is that you play your lands, or play your resources rather, that's a triggered ability. Whereas if you were going to use something like what's his name, the Howling Brave, that would be a activated ability. Those are the two different things. So triggered abilities happen usually when you do something else. Activated abilities mean you usually have to pay some sort of price and activate it. And in that case, that still goes on the stack. And also, of course, as you're playing cards like spells or creatures or those such things, those still go on the stack. So the biggest change that this means is that you can now play a Wild Root Dancer, and then if somebody has a burn ready for another creature, you can play your resource. And because that +2/+2 doesn't go on the stack anymore, if you wanted to burn that creature in response, you can no longer do that, which could easily be fixed by them making it so that when you play resources, those go on the stack. But I'm really not for this change. What do you guys feel about this?
What do you think?
I didn't love it at first when they first announced it. It seemed like it would bring up a lot of situations where you couldn't react to something, and it kind of takes away a lot of the play experience, maybe a lot of the skill involved in it. But like after playing with it last night and some more this evening, I don't really hate it. It actually has barely come up. The whole Wild Root Dancer thing, while that is a big deal, you can still respond to the Root Dancer like actually coming into play. So like if their only troop was like the Sensei or something, like just a 1/1, like you could just burn the Sensei and response to the Root Dancer, like even coming into play. But there are things that you can do to work around it, but it is drastically speeding up games, which I think is what they were going for. Mm-hmm. So, if that's their intentions, they're certainly succeeding. And I don't think that right now the change is that big of a deal.
Right.
I think people are maybe just being kind of knee-jerk about it, like, oh my god, why are you making this big change? But like I was saying, even myself, I'm like, man, I don't think that this is a great change. But after testing it, like it's I still wish that they would do like the whole Magic online thing, where you press F4 or F5, just whatever the function keys are to pass priority and all that. That's what I would prefer. But if this is the alternative, then like I'll be fine with it.
Sure, I think that it screams a Band-Aid fix to me. Like, it seems like something that they're just trying out, probably getting a feel for it, and what they'll probably do moving forward is like do things where cards like Root Dancer, which makes sense to respond to, will stay that way. Like, you'll be able to respond to them, and then cards like Fang of the Mountain God, which like doesn't really make too much sense to respond to, will probably be moved to like this sort of system where like you just can't respond to it, which is fine, right? Like, because what's the point? Like, there's not very many times where you want to respond to Mountain God, but there are a lot of times where you would respond to what's his face, Wild Root Dancer. So I think that, like, to me it screams like we're trying something new that is actually what Alpha's for, in case people weren't sure. And I think we're gonna get a little bit of feedback and see how it works and play off of that. But I think it's fine. Like, I played like probably almost 50 games or something today. I've been playing like all day, and I haven't had any trouble with it, to be honest. Like, there's really been no issues with it. So what do you think, Frank?
Yeah, I like it. I'm a big fan of speeding up the gameplay, and there's still plenty of strategic decisions you could make. What I don't like about it is it hasn't been implemented very consistently. For example, I noticed playing today, if you have a rage creature, the rage goes on the stack, and I don't think it should do that. I mean, because it says when you attack, it gets +1. Isn't that a triggered? I mean, what do you think?
Triggered. That would be triggered. Yeah, that shouldn't happen that way.
But it is, if you play, at least in my game testing today, rage was going on the stack. So little things like that where they need to clean up what they're trying to do with it. And I like if they make a few small adjustments, like instead of the at beginning of turn abilities like Turreted Wall and these Suicide Orcs, if those things would happen at the end of the prep phase, you would still have time then during the prep phase to react to things like casting an immortality to keep yourself alive and some things. So if they can tweak it, I like it better. I just would like it to be a little more consistently implemented than it is. But again, it's alpha, and that's fine with me. It's alpha. This is what I expect.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Like I said before, I really do feel like it's a Band-Aid. Like, I really do feel like it's something they're just testing out. My idea of it is that they're probably testing out some sort of like hotkey that will have this effect programmed into it, like similar to the F5 key, but they're just testing out the script maybe or something. I don't know for sure, but like I know whenever me and John were at Gen Con, we actually talked to I think it was Dan about the pass priority key like they have in Magic Online. That was definitely something that they were aware of and that they liked the idea of. So I could see that maybe once that hotkey gets put into the game, they'll kind of remove this and maybe switch it back to the way it was or something. I'm not 100% sure, but I can imagine it going back to where you can respond to this stuff after they find out a good way to implement it, basically. Which
Shaggy, I'm glad that you brought that up, because that's exactly what I said when I posted to Reddit today. I said, first, we need to have that. We need to have seed all actions hotkey, so that way I can just pass all the actions, and that way my timer doesn't run down. That's important when timers start making a difference. And then second, let's just have a hotkey that says seed all actions for the current stack and chain. I think that would be an elegant answer. And maybe if there are newer players that want to have a checkbox or something that's automatically turned on to seed all actions on the chain like this for these triggered abilities, have that, but allow other players to turn it off. I think that would be a good solution here.
I agree. I actually think that's where it's going to move to eventually. Obviously, it's just me guessing. I have no idea, but I can't see them wanting it to be like this. I mean, in my opinion, I wouldn't want it to be if I were them.
They also might be doing this, and this was brought up on the forums too, and someone made kind of a good point about it, is that they might be doing this because they're trying to see what's causing the pass priority bugs. So by taking away like a bunch of triggered abilities, that is less chances for the game to freeze. But the other side of that is that I have actually had more pass priority errors, bugs than I have in the last 3 weeks combined, just in the last 2 days. Like my tournament match last night against Havoc, like we tried 4 or 5 games and didn't even come close to finishing.
That's right.
Like any of them. Mm-hmm. So
I mean, I played all day today and didn't have one freeze.
Same, yeah. Like I played all day yesterday and was fine up until last night, and even today I played a few games early this morning and it was fine. But then this evening I tried to play 2 or 3 games and they almost all locked up. So I don't know.
I think it's because the number of people on the server at a time.
Could be, yeah. It could be server load.
Sure.
So, because they said that it's something about how the server's communicating with your client, and the more people on taxing the server, I think the more opportunities there are for there to be a disjunction there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think it sounds right, but I think this is definitely not a sky is falling type scenario like people like to bring it up. It's like when we saw the mill card or whatever. We had there was 3,000 forum posts about how that card's OP and should be banned. I mean, I feel like people just like to take little things like this and really blow them out of proportion, and I don't think this is the scenario. Again, we are in alpha. I mean, I've seen developers do crazier stuff than this during beta and alpha phases to test it out. And I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, and it's good that they're starting to use alpha like alpha and test out these new things and see what they can do, because it's only going to lead to better things. And like you said too, with the whole stopping it, so to see what was causing the pass priority bug, it might not be a coincidence that this happened the same time the bug game fix thing came up too. So they could be limiting the resources. It's for sure. Charles, anything else to talk about, Bob?
Not that I can see. That was a really, really big one. What else do we have on patch notes? We had they added the reported bug game screen, and people are gonna complain about everything, right? So someone was like, well, I don't see why it is that you don't have to say I concede yes and then have a separate screen for reported bugs. And I was like, what kind of a complaint is this? But those are the main things, really.
It's hard to tell, man. It really is. Like you said, it's hard to please everyone. It's actually impossible.
It's actually impossible, yeah. You cannot please everyone. So.
No, you cannot.
Right.
As hard as we might try, there are people who like to rage at us.
For sure. It's probably because it's how good we look, if I had to guess. Really, is the problem. All right, so John, do you want to talk a little bit about our trip to Cryptozoic? I'm sure I've had a lot of people ask me about it.
I've had a lot of people ask me about it too, and I try to say as little as possible while still saying as much as possible, if that makes sense. But of course we're bound by NDAs, so we can't really say too much. But from what we saw, we toured their whole offices there. Everything looked awesome.
I was actually surprised. I actually thought their office looked better than what I imagined. It was the first time I've ever been in a game studio's office, so it seemed it was different than what I pictured. I guess I pictured kind of a back room of a card shop or something. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Pizza boxes everywhere or something. And it was,
it's a second floor office that has several different rooms. Of course, they have a bunch of cubicles, tons of PCs, and multiple monitors set up. Just about what you would expect, I would think, if you think about a PC gaming company. But they. On Wednesdays they have their open game night, and I'm not sure if they make those people sign NDAs or not, but they have hex paper decks built. They had 4 decks built with set 2 cards in it, set 1 cards. I don't want to talk about the cards in there, just at risk of maybe that's bound by NDA as well. But sure. There were some really cool set 2 cards in there, as well as set 1 stuff. They had an Eye of Creation deck that was really sweet. They had a Shinhair deck with a ton of set 2 cards in it. The set 2 Shinhair cards are really good. Let me tell you,
they're the coolest.
Yeah. So if you don't like Shinhair now, I'm telling you that the set 2 Shinhair are
you get some love, huh?
Pretty impressive. Yeah. There was a red green deck, wild ruby deck. It's kind of mid range. It had a really sweet set 2 troop in there. It was a 3-drop that was really cool. And then the other deck they had, red green, mono green, Shinhair, and I forget what the 4th deck was. I didn't actually play it, but all the decks had new cards in it, and it was all really cool. They were playing the new DC Deck Builder expansion. They were playing all their games, and then in the back rooms they were doing a PvE dungeon. Paper, of course.
And, I'd love to see that.
And in one room, we kind of walked by it, but I didn't personally peek in or anything. PvE is not really my thing, but I am interested to see it, but I can wait. What I was really curious about was the draft. They had quite a few people there for the draft, just visiting from BlizzCon and just people in the area. Sam Black, he's a Magic pro. He was there drafting with them. Ray Todic was there. He's a WoW, guy. There was a few other people there that I had recognized from over the years, but they were doing a set 2 draft, which was two packs of set 2 and 1 pack of set 1. And again, the cards and the mechanics were all really sweet. Let's see what else. Kyle Jordan, I think his name, Dusty.
Yeah.
I think he's Paladon on the game there. but he showed us around. He showed us the like a few different UIs, one for the tournament UI. He showed us the draft UI,
and
like
I wish
for the
we
game.
could talk about those because those look so cool.
They're really cool. Some of the features that he told us for the tournament UI is just mind blowing.
I mean, obviously, that's like me and John's thing. Like, obviously, we're super into the competitive side of things. So, like, you know, to be able to see the tournament UI was the coolest. Like, there's so many awesome features. If I was Magic Online, I would cry.
I'll just sit myself right now.
I would go behind the corner because
like, you know, Magic Online, you click on tournaments and you get this black screen with really thin gold text, and it's terrible.
Am I in a tournament?
But the Hex one, like the way it's laid out, all the different options you have on it, you know, like again, I really wish I could talk about it more, but everyone is going to be blown away by it, and I'm sure someone will find something to complain about, but like they shouldn't. Like 99% of the people will love this, and according to him, he says that he doesn't think that it's that far away. Yeah. So, you know, I'm not saying like next week or 2 weeks from now, but you know, maybe like a month from now, we could see, you know, maybe around Christmas time, we could see the whole tournament thing like being put, you know, in game. So
yeah, that'd be awesome.
But I think that's about everything that we saw. You know, we got to talk to Corey and Will and Kyle and you know, Dan Clark and Ben Stoll. You know, all those guys. You know, they're all great people. They all work really hard on the game, and you know, you don't really know how hard they work until you see them doing it. And you know,
for sure.
One of my favorite things, I mean, I hate to just keep rambling on, but one of my favorite things that they were doing for the draft was, okay, of course it was a paper draft, and the way that they would test cards for drafting, and you know, as well as for playing games after the draft, is they would take Sharpies. They had, in the middle of the table, they had 2 or 3 Sharpies, and every time someone would get past the pack, they would be like, man, this card is a little bit too good. So they would take a Sharpie and be like, okay, now it costs 3 instead of 2. So they test it that way. And it's like, cool. Now we'll just enter it in game as a 3-drop, because as a 2-drop, it's just way too good.
Yeah.
So you know, there was a Sapphire card that they changed the cost from like 6 to 4, or 6 to 2 rather, but then changed the ability cost of it from like 2 to 6. So they just kind of like flipped the things around, and there was a few other things that they did that was really cool. And you know, that was
the testing process in action. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, what's really funny is one of, you know, John's good friends, him and Sean's friend Chevy. You know, he's a game designer. He makes he actually has a couple of published games. And he's actually working on a third one. And like whenever we help him test or whatever, that's the same thing he does. You know what I mean? And like, you know, and I've worked on a couple games myself, and you know, none of them have ever been published or even became close to it. But you know, me and my buddies do the same thing. You know, like, this card's too good, X this out, make this cost more. You know, whatever. And it was just really cool to see them doing the same thing. You know what I mean? It was like, all right, cool. So I wasn't doing it too wrong. So it was just cool to see it. It felt like, I'm not gonna say it felt like home, like a cheesy like Bob Evans thing, but like it definitely felt it felt like it wasn't like this big corporate people like. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, we can't change the card. Printer paper costs too much, you know, or something like that. It was just like they were super into the game, and they actually, you could tell that they're learning by playing the cards, not learning by guessing. They're not just throwing stuff at the client and hoping it works out. You know, even though you might think that by looking at escalation.
Yeah.
But
you know, like every time these guys draft, like they print off 360 cards. Like, so they go through a shit ton of ink, like every time, and it's all like. They don't do it randomly, I don't think. They actually just pick cards to draft with to make the packs, so they're like kind of even, just for testing purposes. But you know, it was really, really cool, and I was, you know, happy that I got to you know, see it. So
yeah, me too. Yeah, it was a good time, a lot of fun. So okay, so I guess we'll move on to the kind of meat and bones of this episode, which is the what's that website called? With that really weird guy that like casts all the stuff.
Yeah, that's a weird guy, for sure.
Sure, HexCasters. We have Frank, which is the caster of that site, and I would say, in my opinion, probably the best caster so far that we've had in the community. He's done a great job. You know, we started out like watching.
Yeah, I'm about to say the community of one person doing it.
Okay, like all right, draw
I am first.
the dream
dagger.
trying to talk him up here. John's like, "This is one of them, dude."
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks, John.
I'm 1 of 1, baby. I'm like a Dr. Pepper commercial.
You're a dying breed.
Yes, you're going extinct. But anyway, so why don't you talk a little bit about the tournament in case people aren't like quite aware of what it is? Just kind of go over it really quick, and then we'll get into what I guess our predictions and how we think it's been.
The Hex Alpha Tournament of Streamers came about because I was in a lot of streams enjoying a lot of these guys, the efforts they're putting into promoting Hex, showing off the game, and then I started, of course, shoutcasting some of their games because that's kind of like what I enjoy doing. I'm not a streamer. I mean, I don't mind coming in as a guest like this or even popping into other people's streams occasionally, but my kind of role is to shoutcast games. That's what I enjoy, and so I wanted to find something a little bit more meaningful to shoutcast because obviously if there's something on the line when you're playing in like a tournament environment, it's a little bit more interesting to watch a match like that than it is just to watch, hey, here's some crazy Plan C deck, watch it blow up in someone's face, which is fun too. But if you can do that and have a tournament at the same time, then you'll double your viewers. So I thought, what can we do? And I'd seen there had been some small efforts made to try to host a tournament already. Nothing had really panned out. So I thought the solution to that would be to give the streamers something more substantial to stream about, give me something more substantial to shoutcast about, and that's how the tournament was born. I think it's been successful because we've kept it small. We've only used 12 streamers, and because they're streaming, it's kind of kept the participants accountable. It's really hard to cheat in a tournament when people are watching everything you do.
Sure.
And so it's been manageable because of the small numbers, because they're streaming, and the response to the tournament's just been phenomenal. I've really enjoyed getting to know so many people from this. We're over 1,100 views now on HexCasters on YouTube, and we've only been around for 2 weeks. That's a pretty good number for 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And anyway, so we're enjoying it, and of course you guys are all participating. And it's been fun having you guys there too.
Yeah, for sure. And like the cool thing about this is like this isn't like I guess this is like a new idea. Like I've been a part of a couple different betas. Currently in the Hearthstone beta, I was in StarCraft 2 beta to name the two most recent, and both of those did like a caster / tournament thing, and like both of them were like hugely successful, and the community loves it, and it really just kind of brings the competitive side into the game that much earlier. And in my opinion, it's like I'm glad you did it. I was really hoping somebody would, because I've never seen one of these things ever fail. Like every time I've seen them, they've done great, and like people have loved them, and actually a lot of good casters have got their start just by doing these kind of tournaments. So like I'm really pumped for you, and I'm really I think you've done a great job so far in the tournament. I mean, it's not over yet, so I don't want to give you too much props, but so far.
These priority bugs need to resolve themselves before Saturday, or we're going to have a really nasty tournament like what happened to John last night. Was that last night you tried to play that tournament match, John? You couldn't complete anything?
Oh, yeah. That was last night with Havoc. It was, couldn't even do anything.
Yeah.
So I don't know if, hopefully that'll be resolved by this weekend, or else it's going to be a rough weekend.
Sure. Yeah, so I mean, so far, just about all the top streamers right now are streaming. I know everyone in here, I mean, has been took a part of your tournament, right? We have John, Charles, they both did it. We had Crone did it, right? And who else?
Crone, yeah.
Neo,
there's
I think Shaggy did it.
Neo is doing it. Who else is in the top 8? Trunk, Crone, Neo, Havoc. Yeah. So I mean, there's there's a lot of high quality players, and of course, as the alpha goes on and more people gets in, the competition is just going to keep rising. So, this is a pretty sweet idea, and I'm really excited for future ones.
Yeah,
so.
If you guys haven't, of course I'll do this again at the end of the show, but if you guys haven't, please do check out Frank's YouTube channel at HexCasters on YouTube. It's awesome. I've really enjoyed all the games so far. I did some guest commentating with some of the games, some of the earlier games in the tournament during my Extra Life marathon. It was just a pleasure working with him. Frank's been an awesome guy. Unfortunately, like Charles brought up, I actually had to drop out of the tournament. I was going to be in it, I had to drop out. I can't quite say why yet, but you guys will find out at some point. Hopefully sooner than later, but we'll see.
Hopefully tomorrow. I don't know if they'll do anything tomorrow, but
yeah, it could be tomorrow.
Could be, but sooner rather than later. Let's
it's a
hope.
secret
Frank,
to everyone.
We have to get you a new logo, because this YouTube HexCaster thing is.
Here we go.
Listen, I don't think that's going to cut it for the long run.
I'm not sure if you know, Frank, but I'm now a Photoshop master. I've used it for a total of like 4 hours, so I'm pretty much. If you can't tell by your new webcam I made you, I'm pretty proficient as far as logos and stuff goes. So.
Okay, well, I'm going to screen capture that and add it to my YouTube channel. So.
Yeah, if you could tell, your T-shirt does say HexCasters on it. It's very small.
Okay,
but
good.
it does say that, so that's a good shout out.
Those arms, or is that supposed to be the sides of his body?
That's my shoulders, or my lack of shoulders, I would assume.
Yeah, dude, like look at me right now. You can't see my arms. I wouldn't put that in, dude. I'm not dude.
Well, the HexCasters there might be really big. It's just this might be a really big person. I don't.
Yeah, he's a giant and wearing a very tiny shirt.
So many options, so many different things.
I do hear that a lot. So.
Fat man in a little shirt.
Oh God, John Tad is starting to sing. We got to hurry this thing up.
Fat guy, little coat. Fat guy, little coat.
He's
I need
hammered.
a drink.
Hey, Richard.
Way ahead of you. Way ahead of you.
So moving forward real quick before John starts singing again. We want to kind of talk about some of the cards that we thought were pretty influential so far in the tournament. So before the show started, we kind of talked to Charles and Frank and John and had them pick out a couple cards. And we're just going to kind of go through them really quick. I know we do this a lot. We always have cards up here, and it's starting to get to the point where we're starting to repeat ourselves a lot. But I do think some of these cards have showed that they definitely belong where we've originally said they should be, and some of them are actually surprising. One in particular is, we saw him. We thought he was. Well, I don't know if it's a him or her. Actually, let's pop him, her up first. The old.
I think it's a dude. You can't tell with elves.
I don't know. I agree. It's a guy. I think it's a guy. Charles, whoa, you're very direct. Are you sure? I think it looks good.
I think it's a man.
Check for an Adam's apple.
That's a man.
Check for an Adam's apple.
He's got a little goatee. Is that a goatee on there?
Sure.
Hold on, let me fire up my hex.
Elves might be able to grow a goatee. We don't know.
Yeah,
this.
we don't know how they work.
Very French looking. I thought it was a girl.
I think we should take a vote of the audience.
Sure.
Do a straw
poll. I had to check the package check.
The first
it was really actually pretty awkward.
That's a guy. He's got the Van Dyke, I think. It's Master Pet.
All right, so we'll go with the guy.
Okay. All right. So what's the girl?
This guy is pretty good. We all thought that he was good. We've said that he was good for a while, but I guess we didn't really grasp how good. But since the main removal in this game is inner conflict, murder, it's all spot. It's other than extinction and maybe heat wave, but heat wave isn't going to kill this guy that often. But it's mainly just extinction. So if you really want to see this guy in action, you need to check out the matches that You Dare You Take played, specifically against me and against Mythic Fishmom. The scout single-handedly crushed us. I know in game 2 against You Dare You Take, I mulliganed into a hand that had 2 or 3 inner conflicts and maybe a murder, and he played scout on turn 3 and did 20 damage with scout. I was playing Blood Diamond, and I mulliganed into a kind of a sketchy hand that I should have mulliganed again, but I kept it just out of stubbornness. And he played the scout, and I died. So
yeah. I'm sorry. You will use the spell shield gem on the scout.
Yes, spell shield.
Yes,
you will. We kind of forgot to say that, but yeah. That is what we're talking about. So this card's very. Spell shield. I think either you or Sean said it. I don't think it was even during the show. I think we were just talking personally, at your house or something, and we were talking about how spell shield or hexproof of magic, whatever you want to call it, is a very dangerous mechanic to have in your game. It really could be a deal breaker. It's very powerful. Especially, the game has no edict effects. It has no way to make you sacrifice a creature. Right now, like you said, there's only 1, maybe 2 cards that can really deal with this guy. And the fact that he gets stronger each time he attacks makes him even more, of a threat. It's even hard to get a blocker out for him. And if you don't get a bigger creature out, you will just basically die to the scout. Not to mention, even Sapphire Wild has ways to give him flying and stuff. I've seen a couple decks take advantage of that. That's annoying, to have this 2/2 flyer that gets stronger every time. So there's, this card is definitely a lot stronger than what I think we gave it credit for. Like you said, we knew he was going to be good, or she, or whatever. She, sure. So we knew this lady would be very good. But moving forward, it's actually been a tournament defining card, I think, and it's really part of why Mono Wild has had such a dominant performance. And I also think it has a lot to do with the top decks right now. Obviously, Blood Diamond. I'm trying to make sure I say the shards whenever I don't say black white, so I'm kind of stuttering a little bit. But yeah, so Blood Diamond. That it's a dominant deck right now. I think John, you said yourself in your article today, that's probably the best deck in the tournament. And this card definitely, really, really hates to I mean, Blood Diamond hates to see this card, so.
Yeah, definitely. Now there's ways around it, but you know, unless you get like a good draw with like spiders and protector defender, like if someone casts Wild Aura on the scout, like you essentially cannot win unless you just cast Extinction every time they play one. And even you take was playing Call the Grave, so like he was playing against Mythic Fish Mom, and like he was like, okay, cool, Wild Aura my scout, Blood Aura his scout, like playing all these like really, like I think they're bad, but really interesting cards on his scout, and just gone all in on them. And then when Mythic Fish Mom would be like, cool, your guy's huge, I'll just Extinction, his opponent was just like, cool, Call the Grave, replay my 8/8 with trample and life link. It's like
for 3 cast.
Yeah,
for 3.
It's like it's like, okay, cool. Like, and then when he was playing, like when I was playing him, like he played scout and then was like Blood Aura, and I'm like, okay, cool. Like I don't think it really does anything. But he's setting himself up to get like 4 for 1, but like he just doesn't care. Like his deck is all in on it, and he either does 20 damage with scout or like he loses the game. And it's working out for him, and mad props for him to go 2-0 that I've seen with that deck. But if I played that deck, I would either never draw scout or like something. But the deck seems incredibly inconsistent. But it is what it is, and he smashed at least me and Mythic Fish Mom with it. So
yeah, I mean, like I said, that guy's definitely a lot stronger than what I gave him credit for. Which is funny because the only time I've really played card games in a competitive level, it was on the back of a Spell Shield guy or Hexproof guy. So like I should have realized how powerful the ability was, and like I kind of did, but not as I think it's actually that with this effect is what makes him so strong. Obviously, obviously a 2/2 of Spell Shield isn't the best, but like one that gets bigger, it just doesn't give you very many turns to deal with him before he's actually just unstoppable. And like
when you give him Crush, it starts to get out of hand.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
And like the other thing we talked about too yesterday, John, was I think it was yesterday, maybe it was like earlier in the week, but we were play testing green versus mono red or mono ruby. I'm sorry, and we were like, holy crap! Like obviously the match is pretty skewed towards mono wild, and then I think the 4th game you played against me, you played out the scout, and then I really realized just how impossible it is for Mono Ruby to win that matchup if the Mono Wild gets the right cards. I mean, like Mono Ruby cannot beat this card. Like it's actually like they play it and like
very,
like,
very
cool,
difficult.
I guess I lose the game. Like unless you make a terrible attack, then there's like nothing I can do. So
yeah, like even though all Scout does most of the time against Mono Ruby is like trade with something, the point is that they just can't burn it. Like he is going to kill your opponent's best troop like every single time.
For sure.
Yeah. So it's like you can't burn it, you can't rage fire it. So it's like
Gladiator can't target him, so he'll get the lock off.
That's what he did most of the time. Like I was playtesting, with Shaggy, and like he'd have Veteran Gladiator out, and he'd like attack with Gladiator because he has to attack, and then it's like, well, cool, I'll just block with Scout. So like because that's the only problematic card is like Veteran Gladiator basically. So otherwise you can just throw all your 1/1s and crap in front of his 2/1s, and it doesn't really matter.
Sure.
But Scout is a pretty huge deal. That combined with like the champion power to gain 6 life, and like bottled Vitae, and there's tons of cards that are problematic for the Ruby player. But the Scout was certainly towards the top of the list. So.
Yeah, actually,
what would revert to? You would just revert it back to its like first form, but it would still have the socket.
It would still have the it would still have the gem.
Mythic Fish Mom said with sideboard he won't last 100%. I'm not sure I understand what you mean by that, Mythic. Like, what is there a certain card that you think that is going to dominate this guy? Like I'm not sure I understand what you mean by that. But I'll give you some time to type while we move on a little bit. But yeah, to me, there's no sideboard card that I can think off the top of my head that just like obliterates this guy, unless that's not what the card.
You can't target him directly. I mean, most of the time, like John and everyone's saying, that pyroclasm effect, heat wave is not gonna deal with him very well. There's only like
you have a 1-turn window to heat wave him, and if you don't do it in that window, like
unless they have some sort of like defender up. I mean, late game he's pretty bad, but I mean,
Which is like John's saying, which is like not the time you want to use Heat Wave, right? Like you want to save Heat Wave until you can get like 2 for 1 or 3 for 1 them, and like a smart player, if they're playing against any kind of red deck, will just play this guy on turn 3 and be like, here you go, you have Heat Wave.
So bad though, you have to 1 for 1 Heat Wave him. You have to.
Well, I'd love to use this opportunity, though, because Mythic does bring up a good point, to transition into discussing sideboards, because we are new to the tournament this weekend is going to be sideboards, and I think that's going to have a huge effect on the gameplay. I really think that sideboards allow better players to even play better, and I think that perhaps somebody snuck a win over someone else, and I perhaps thought the stronger player may have lost a match occasionally, and I think you're going to see less of that with sideboards. So, John, what do you think about the sideboards being added in this weekend?
I love the idea. I think sideboards add a whole new element to the game. I think sideboarding really does separate, a certain caliber of players. So the better players tend to get better with sideboarding, whereas the players that are maybe a little bit newer or about average, they tend to get much worse after sideboarding. And the reason for that is because sideboarding is very difficult to do properly. So, if you're not sure about how to sideboard or how to build a proper sideboard or what cards to take out in certain matchups, you're just going to kind of get outclassed by players who know the matchups, maybe a little bit better. And that's a common theme throughout every card game. And, of course, Hex is no different as far as, the sideboard goes. So.
Yeah, exactly. And like John said, I want to kind of iterate on that a little bit, is like, in my opinion, card game skill is kind of divided up between deck building, sideboarding, and whenever you play actually in the game. And I think deck building is one of those things that can be you can kind of get that clutch. Like after good players make decks,
you can fake it.
Yeah, you can kind of fake it a little bit. You can just like kind of net deck the decks, which is fine with me. I have nothing against it. But sideboarding and in-game play is where you start seeing better players play. I've watched games of John's or of Zach's play, and they'll make plays that just blow my mind. Like I never would have ever thought about doing that. So like that's clearly a skillful thing. But as far as sideboarding goes, a lot of times people, when they start net decking the better decks, they'll also copy the sideboard, which I think is like the worst thing you could do. Like sideboarding is so personal, and so for each tournament you go to. Like whenever I play Magic, I had a sideboard for when I played it locally at the shop, and I had a sideboard when we played at like Grand Prix and stuff. Like they weren't the same. Like sometimes if you're going into a format that has 20 out of 40 people playing Tippered Still or an artifact deck, then you need to have a sideboard that can deal with that, even though that's probably not very good once you go to the competitive decks. Your sideboard should always change, and it should change based on what the best decks in the format are and what your deck can handle. It's kind of your plan B, and it's one of those things that are very, very strong and very, very hard to learn. John helped me out tremendously learning sideboarding whenever I was coming up, through Magic. So it's one of those things that I think people just don't quite understand how important and how big that is once we get sideboard into the game, just how much it'll change so many of these matchups.
Yes, and for the love of all that is holy, guys, people who know me can actually kind of see what I'm saying here, but do not ever, ever, ever copy my sideboards or how I sideboard. I can't explain it to you, but just don't do it. You will not understand. My sideboard for the Magic State Tournament 2 years ago, where I got second place, was 13 1-ofs and then 1 2-of. And people were like, "Why do you do this?" And I'm like, "Well, they're kind of functional. I have one of this and one of this, but they're both kind of the same card, but they're actually different." And they're like, "I don't get it." It's like,
cool.
Sorry. That's how I do it, and I am successful with it. But just don't read any sideboard article that I ever write.
Yeah, for sure. It's for sure one of those things that I think people really don't quite understand. I hate when people copy sideboards anyway. To me, unless the person making the deck explains to you why they sideboarded, it's one of those things that it's just really hard to understand why that person did that. Sideboards are never set in stone; they're always different. And the cool thing is a lot of these cards, and that's something that me and John talked a lot about when we talked about Hearthstone, is a lot of these cards are clearly made to be sideboard cards. They're just not good main deck. So it's for example, the card that shuffles in your deck. What's it called in Hex? I can't remember. It's the totem thing.
Cosmic Totem?
Yeah, Cosmic Totem. Yeah. So that card's terrible. We never run that main deck ever. But it's really good if the format has a lot of mill in your sideboard. So it's one of those things where it really is important, and to really see it change up the format a whole lot. So.
Yeah, and Nature Reigns, I think, is one that it destroys an artifact or a constant. There's a red troop that destroys an artifact.
Yeah,
just things. The imps, just cards like that. Those are just sideboard only cards, and they make them going in pretty much knowing that, You know,
yeah.
it's
And
just,
like moving forward, once we start getting more sideboards going, it'll actually kind of like the better decks will be the decks that can take advantage of sideboarding through their shard properly. So like I know Magic when we played, you know, blue and white had like the best sideboard cards, so that like they were like the best deck for a long time because they just had better options going on. So I think we'll see that. We'll start evaluating colors based on sideboarding and things like that as well.
Yes, see, like, you know, and that's a perfect example of like functional one-ofs and how I would sideboard in particular is like you have the green, say I'm playing red-green, and you have that Nature Rains card, the one, you know, the 2-cost quick action that destroys an artifact or a constant, and then you have the red Hoodlum, you know, the Imp cards that, you know, destroys an artifact. Like my sideboard will have one Nature Rains and one of the Imp, but I'll sideboard them both in against like artifact decks. And you know, people would be like, well, why aren't you playing 2 of this or 2 of this? It's like, well, because sometimes I want a troop and sometimes I just want a quick action. It's just, you know, just one of those things.
Sure. So anything else to add, Charles or Frank, about sideboarding before we move into the other cards?
No, that's you guys pretty much hit it all on the head. I mean, I've read some articles where like the metagame is somewhat established, and at that point in time, you'll see they'll say, well, against this deck, it's these come out and these go in, and you'll see a lot of that. But again, like you guys are saying, it's very personal, and you're going to prep for the metagame in your own way.
Sure.
Yeah, I think Charles is right, and there's some cards, obviously, like how many Chaos Keys are you going to include between your main deck and your sideboard because of the prevalence of the mono wild decks that are so strong. If you're running Ruby, I mean, how many Heat Waves are you going to include? I mean, a lot of things like that you have to make some really tough decisions on. And what makes this more difficult in my mind for creating sideboards is that Cryptozoic has made what looks like, to me at least at this point, a design decision not to have opposing colors, not to have opposing shards. I remember back in the glory days of Magic when I first played, we had even like circular protections where you could actually like sideboard in something just to play against green decks. You know, you'd have, you know, green decks that did things that were bad for blue decks and things like that. And I don't see any of that in the design of Hex.
No.
Yeah, I don't know about like protection black,
boiling seas or whatever it was. Destroy all islands.
Yeah, there was boil, there was like conversion, you know, there's karma, you know, just cards like that. All the hate cards are
just
hosers.
color.
Right.
Fires.
There were one shard against another shard, basically. The opposing shards. I mean, I don't think Hex is doing that yet. They may in future sets, but I haven't seen anything like that in the base set.
Right.
All right, cool. All right, so we've gone to the couple other cards we have to talk about real quick. Another card that I think has been really good since they added gems, obviously, this helps them out a lot, is the Defender, the Protectorate Defender, which is like just a 4-drop 2 diamond threshold stockable major troop that is a 2/4 that has the one-shot ability to return them to your hand. Like this card is obviously, I'd say, one of the better cards in the Blood Diamond deck. What do you think, John?
Yeah, 100% right there with you. This guy wasn't in my top 10 overall list for all the cards in the game. I think I actually wrote that I would put him at number like 11, but I think I would probably move him up into the top 10. So I don't really know what I'd cut for it, but you know, he's certainly like in the top 10 cards. I think he's very, very powerful, and you know, of course, you use the life gain gem in him, and you know, he's very, very, you know, key for the Blood Diamond decks.
He is. I remember you did rate him as your number 1 card for Diamond. I remember that.
Yeah.
Which I remember I was like, I think he's the best one, John. Like, calm the hell down. I don't know what the hell you're doing with Protectorate Defender. But yeah, he's been very, very impressive. You know, like I know whenever we were building Mono Red and or Mono Ruby and Wild Ruby decks at like BlizzCon and stuff, that we which says a lot about this game, by the way, that we're sitting in BlizzCon and building the Hex decks. But anyway. This is a card that if you're playing aggro, you have to figure out a way to deal with this card. You know, we chose Gladiator to deal with it, but there's other ways. But you know, this guy is strong and he's very hard to deal with, and it's definitely a card you have to build around whenever you're trying to beat Blood Diamond. So
God, giving away all of our tech. Now everyone's gonna be playing Veteran Gladiator, and we're gonna be like, man, why do you have to tell everyone that trick?
Oh yeah, nobody thought that was a good card. Y'all said it.
Yeah.
Frank, you're starting to meet the real John Tad over here.
Give him all the secrets.
What are you playing? Are you playing Blood? Like I was the only one who said Blood was good.
Extinction is a great card. Don't tell anybody.
I thought of the whole Blood shard. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
I remember I took a giant dump on Blood. Like I was like, Blood, Like
All right, that sounds really gross.
I still think blood as a
Doctor.
color is like not that good. It's just like overall, it just happens to have like Zentos, Inquisitor, Life Siphon, and Extinction. Those are like literally like 3 of the only good blood cards.
Listen,
it just so happens that like there are 4 of in every blood deck, and you know you just pair it with a second color, and you have a good deck.
Well, that's another thing that with John's hat is you'll never hear him say I was wrong. But just
that
like,
is not
listen,
true.
Whoa, I didn't say it was the worst card. I still think it is. It's like John, everybody's playing mono blood right now and like killing everyone. Listen, it's terrible. I promise.
Don't believe the hype.
Yeah, don't believe that. They're tricking you, Dusty.
Don't believe the hype.
All right, so that's Protected Defender, a very good card, and definitely one of those cards that aggro has to deal with. It's almost like Hex's Thragtusk. Maybe. Like, it's that card that when you're playing aggro, you're like, please don't play Protected Defender.
Let's not get out of hand here by throwing around Thragtusk accusations, but this guy is very similar in the way that he gains you life and then comes back and just gains you more life.
Sure. I'd say he's more like Kitchen Finks.
Here we go. All right.
Okay.
So anyway, we moved on to another card, which is the old Inquisitor here. This guy's pretty cool. I mean, it's kind of funny that the 3 cards we're talking about so far have all 3 been socketed cards. Maybe that's a pattern.
Sign of things to come.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, Inquisitor. We talked about this card being good before he was even in the game. There's not really much to say here except that he is good. It's another key component of the Blood Diamond deck. Actually, what do you think about this card, John? Like, what do you think about? Do you think you can cut a couple of Inquisitors? Do you think you have to have?
I think I would always play 4. I mean, I don't think cutting any more than. Well, actually, there's no way you can cut any of this guy. He's like easily one of the best 3 or 4 black cards. Like I think in my list I had Life Siphon, Extinction, and Vampire King as the top 3, with the Inquisitor 4th, like kind of tied with Vampire King. But since we haven't been able to test Vampire King, I guess we could just put Inquisitor as like the 3rd best blood card. But he's very, very key for the Shard to even be successful. Like I know before this guy came out, blood decks were essentially just Life Siphon, Murder, Extinction. Like that was it. And now that we have this guy, we also have him he actually provides a pretty consistent clock. He comes into play, deals 3, he attacks, he trades with something, comes back, 2 turns later he comes back down, deals 3-2, he'll trade with something else. He's just like a walking like 3-for-1. So he's super powerful. I'd certainly never play less than 4.
Yeah, I like him a lot. I think he's really strong, very cool. I like his ability with the gem. I remember the first time I played him in the deck, I was like, wow, this guy's absurd. Like, he's just really good. He feels very powerful, especially with Life Siphon. He, like you said, he kind of shortens that clock down. And I like him a lot. He's really good. He's even a good chump blocker. And he kills a lot of stuff. So, yeah, I like him.
Yeah, I mean, you play him twice, and you're in double Life Siphon range of killing your opponent.
That's
already. Yeah, I mean, that's it. That's all there is to it.
Sure.
Yeah, and I call him the Roach because he's so hard to get rid of. I mean, he just keeps coming back.
That's exactly right.
Maybe you could try to pop him later. Pop a roach.
He looks a little bit like a roach.
Pop a roach. There we go. All right. So that's it about Inquisitor. Not really too much to talk about him, but he has for sure been a good
everyone knows how good he is. There's really no reason to keep talking him up, but
sure. But he's definitely been a big card in the tournament. And another one has been Crash of Beasts.
Yeah. Man, we're spoiling all the secret tech.
Oh, we are.
I know. Everyone's gonna be playing Crash of Beasts and Zentos Inquisitor. Man.
The old Wild Blood deck. That seems real good.
that actually has been a popular deck.
Has it really?
It can be played really well. Because the Crash of Beasts lets you recover from your own extinction, much less your opponent's.
I don't know. It seems like that deck would have some clunky hands. Like, maybe not, but like it seems like that you'd be wrapping your own stuff.
Certainly get clunky hands, but like that's the same for Blood Diamond. It gets like super awkward, clunky hands because everything's like either.
Sure, but like at least it kind of goes together, right? Like you don't have to freaking extinction your protector. At least you can bounce them back and save them.
The main issue that I have with Wild Blood, and it's kind of a minor issue, like I think, is that you can't play turn 1 Howling Brave and then play a turn 2 Zentos and Inquisitor. If you could do that, I would like it a lot more. But the deck certainly has some very powerful cards. It's just you don't have very many good lead-in plays with your Howling Brave outside of like Crash of Beasts. So, well, I mean, I guess you have the Scout too, which is also pretty insane. So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe you just don't even play the the Spider and the Blood Wild deck, but
oh, he's pretty good. It seems like he's really good with Root Dancer.
Yeah, he's insane.
You're like, oh, he's 5, bouncing back.
That's why I really wanted to play the deck.
Yeah,
like, Root Dancer with really the Spider is insane. He comes down and deals 3, and then 5 next time, and then maybe more.
Yeah. See, in case you guys weren't sure how good Inquisitor was, he's so OP that we're still talking about him when we have Crash of Beast up on this. Someone said, yeah, because no one knew escalation cards were OP. Actually, there's a thread that on the forums where someone is saying that this is one of the worst escalation cards. So that's kind of the reason why.
I love this card.
Yeah. Oh god, that's kind of why I want to put this card in here real quick.
What's the reasoning? Say that escalation isn't good or isn't OP, just knows nothing about card games.
Yeah.
Like, that's fine. Like, you don't know anything about card games. Like, that's your prerogative. But like, don't just put blanket statements on the forums being like, "Man, guys, I'm telling you, escalation is not OP. It's perfectly fair." Like. It's not.
It's not fair.
Sorry, it's not. Like not even totally close. All the best decks in Alpha right now play and at least one escalation card.
Sure. Like, his escalation tier list was like Crash of Beasts is the worst, and then Rage Fire
Madness at first. I think it was.
Yeah, because it was you can't do anything about it. There's no cards to stop it. You just get milled out and lose. So.
Sure.
Yeah, if you cast like 13 of them. So, whatever. But, yeah, Crash of Beast
actually, probably 4 is enough.
4, but sure. I mean,
yeah, I'm pretty sure it's like somewhere around 11 or 12. Anyway, John played a game versus You Dare You Take, his game 1, and he actually just single-handedly lost to Crash of Beasts. Like,
he went turn 4 Crash of Beasts, and then I murdered it. And then he went turn 5 Crash of Beast, which I murdered, or which I Extinction 2 turns later. And then he's like, cool, Crash of Beast number 3. And I'm like, all right, all out of answers.
Done, son.
Yeah, Crash of Beast counters Extinction. It's so powerful.
Oh, it does. It's very strong. It's very hard to deal with. The card is pretty powerful, as are all the escalation cards. Like, whenever a mill card is even played, like, to me that speaks a lot about escalation. So.
Yeah, I actually uploaded a game 3 where Charles, you were dead unless you drew a Crash of Beast. The first day it came out. Let me see if I can link that, because if you've not seen Charles surviving with a Crash of Beast, you've got to see this game. It's pretty sick how good Crash of Beast is. This is the first day it came out, too. I mean, Crash of Beast had never been up. This is the first day it had been fixed, and you played it in the tournament, and you won with it. Top decking it, I think.
Yeah, it's so good, and it's the same for all the escalation cards. They can single-handedly win you games just by drawing multiples of them on accident. So, I mean, I know I was testing the green ramp deck. In fact, I was playing last night against Havoc, and it was one of the games that crashed, but they just gave me the win, because I showed them my hand. But it was 3 Crash of Beasts just on accident. It's like, oops, I drew all these Crash of Beasts. Now I just have to make
oops, I won the game.
like 103 Crush guys. And it's like, well, sure. I mean, as escalation must be terrible. They don't have to nerf it at all. They do have to nerf it, and they will nerf it. It's just how they do it is, going to be very sensitive.
Sure, you're right. I mean, go ahead, Frank.
In the wild format, a 3/3, a 3-drop. It's a 3/3 with Crush by itself is playable. I mean, you have so many ways to buff that 3/3.
Exactly, yeah.
It has Crush. It's so good already. And then, by the way, next time I'm getting 2 of these. Next time I'm getting 4 of these. I mean, it's just sick. And they get shuffled back into your deck.
Worst case scenario, it's a blocker. I mean, that's the worst case scenario. And that's
the third time that someone casts Crash of Beasts, it's very demoralizing.
No.
You actually just want to
scoot so bad.
Well, here's a question: have you guys seen someone cast the 4th one?
I have not. I have not.
I have, but I mean,
after the 3rd one, I'm pretty sure you either win or lose.
Yeah. I have yet to see someone cast the 3rd one. Every time I see the 3rd one cast, I lose. I was like,
game's over.
I've seen anyone survive or not win after playing a.
At least with Ragefire, they have to cast 4 of them.
Yeah, sure.
So, I don't know. The card's very strong.
And like Master Fet's saying in chat, these rhinos also get Inspire effects. So if you have Lord Alexander out or Ruby Pyromancer, or God forbid both of them, it's you're making 4/3 haste trampling rhinos. It's all right. I mean,
they're very angry.
I guess you got me.
Okay, now, Master Fet's saying that he saw someone get 16 and then 32, but why would you need 32? Surely 16 won the game for you. Why would you have to see 32? It must just be the players.
Someone could just have like 4 extinctions or something. I mean, I don't know, but
if you did, Crash of Beast would still counter it.
Right.
That's what's so crazy. You draw Extinction, I draw Crash of Beast, I win.
No, Persecute wouldn't stop it. The way that Persecute works currently is that you cast it on their troop, and it searches their deck in all zones for the Rhino token card. And because there's no Rhinos in their deck, they still create them from the Crash of Beast card.
Sure.
Yeah, I see what you mean, Master Fet.
All right, well, moving on to one of the last cards. There are 2 cards I forgot to put in here, but we'll start off with this one first, which is, again, one of those cards isn't a big surprise, which is Old Life Siphon. Once again, I think John made this his best card in the format or whatever, and once again it's taken over the format. What out of 4 different decks or 5 different decks that's been played, like 3 of those are Life Siphon decks. Like, that's a pretty big percentage.
At least, people are still arguing with me that this card is not the best card in the entire game, and I'm sorry. I feel like you're very wrong. You would have a very, very hard time to find me like a deck in this tournament or anywhere else that like doesn't play Life Siphon. Like,
that's just too good.
It's way, way, way too good, and I sincerely hope that it gets nerfed.
Really? I don't want it to be nerfed either. I think it's.
I would like for it to be nerfed.
Really?
When the full set is in, it won't be the most strongest card.
Yeah, I think the counter magic is going to be different.
I disagree 110%. Like, I don't think counter magic really does anything to this card.
It's not even counter magic. There's other things too. There's a 1-blood that lets you go through their deck and pick a card to void. I mean, you can start getting rid of things like Life Siphon.
Yeah, I mean, that's a sideboard card, but yeah, I mean that's.
I don't know. You could main deck it. There's a lot of decks that rely on things like Life Siphon to win. Extinction. If you're playing a troop deck, a blood troop deck, you could play the Omen to get rid of Extinction.
Sure.
Watch it get changed to an escalation effect. Yeah, that'd
be like Blood is also getting a discard spell that costs 2, and you just name like any card type, and you search your hand for that card type and make them discard one of them. So like if you're really worried about something, it's like, all right, I'll name Quick Action. Oh, cool! You have a counterspell for my Life Siphon. I'll take it. Life Siphon you for 8. Cool. I mean, can't do anything about it.
I mean, there are some cards that counters it. There's like the Phantasmal, the blue card that can bounce it, which effectively time walks your opponent, which is okay. But no one's going to cast Life Siphon into that. I think that's the thing that people might be misunderstanding. And I can see once the counterspell does come up, that it's going to be this like we're going to kind of get away from Diamond and move more to Sapphire, and then it's going to be like these really weird counterspell battles and like John's talking about these like discard effects and stuff, and it's going to be like this. I think maybe this like not very fun format to play in. But like Life Siphon is for sure very annoying to play against, especially like when you're trying. And again, like I'm not a huge aggro advocate, but like I seem to talk about a lot this cast. But like it's cards like this are very annoying for aggro to play against. Whenever you're like, here
because they're at 2, and then all of a sudden they're at 12, and you're half life.
Yeah, like they're like,
wow, that's great. You played 1 card, and I did all this work.
Yeah, you get them down to like 5 or 6 or something. You're like, okay, you're dead next turn. They're like Extinction. You're like, all right, you got me. I'll play out like Zoltog or something, and they're like, cool. Life Siphon you for 6 or 7, and you're like, okay, that's annoying as shit. Like it's like it starts becoming this like uphill battle where it's like very hard to win. Let alone if they have 2 of them. You know what I mean? Like it's just very frustrating. It's one of those cards like John's saying that I could see it getting nerfed, but I hope it doesn't. I hope they have a better way to deal with a card like this.
Like what this card does? Okay, sure, it's pretty decent against the faster decks, but what it does is very negative for the game because you cannot play a mid-range deck. Like if you're playing mid-range, you cannot beat Life Siphon ever. It's not even possible. Like, I'm sorry, it's not. So if you don't either kill them by turn 5 or are playing a Life Siphon deck, you can't win the game. Like that's the way the cards are in the game right now. That's just how it works out. And it's very like what I would like to see them do is increase the threshold on Life Siphon. They can keep it the same all they want, but if they increase
or 2+X.
like the actual threshold.
3 blood.
The threshold.
Like at least 3 blood. Like I would do maybe a 4 or 5 blood, just so you can only play it in like either mono blood as a win condition,
Yeah.
or decks
Still
that are
gonna get there though, because you're at like 9 resources a lot of times. I mean, it just makes it more clunky.
But if it costs 4 or 5 blood threshold, like you have to be playing almost all black. So it'd be a little bit more fair. Like right now, people are playing like, blood. Insert your favorite color here, and they just play all their favorite cards, and they play Life Siphon.
Well,
so,
too, John. Another thing that it really does to the game that's pretty negative too is rewards playing like 3 cards a game instead of actually like there's games where like you'll just play 3 cards, and those 3 cards will be Life Siphons, and you'll win.
Yeah,
like that's and that's not fun. Like that's not good for the game either. Like you're very right. Like they need to find a way. I think the threshold might be a good spot to tackle the card, but I think at least 5 threshold, in my opinion. 4 maybe, but like 3 is just like still. I think
I would still be perfectly fine with this card, and I would personally still rank it in my top 10 of best cards in the game if it costs 5 blood threshold. Like,
sure.
you couldn't splash it into your favorite color deck, but like mono blood, like once they get the whole set, might be able to still be a contender with Warlock Inquisitor, Life Siphon, Extinction, Murder, the discard spell, various other cards, Vampire King. It'd still be a good deck.
Well, how I could just go off of blood threshold, just being like.
That's what I proposed a few weeks ago, that like they change like maybe the life gain part to just key off of blood threshold, or maybe even damage and life gain off of blood threshold. But like I feel like just changing the threshold cost of it is kind of essentially the same thing.
Yeah, I mean I like the card. I love playing control, so that's okay with me. But it's like there's even those weird like boring matches you get into where like Life Siphon you for 8, and their opponent's like cool, Life Siphon you for 9.
Response.
And you're like, oh my god.
And like.
Okay.
The person that wins is the person who has the most Life Siphons.
Yeah, that's very frustrating. Right. You're right. Like it's very, very, very. So like again, it's a card that's for surely shaped the format, or shaped the tournament. I've seen this card cast more than any other card, by far. So Frank, any last things to talk about Life Siphon before I get the other cards in here? I actually forgot to load them into the thing, so I actually have to go get them. But
well, it's just remarkable casting games. How many times we know who's about to win a turn or 2 ahead of time just by being able to count Life Siphons in a hand and looking at life totals, because there's no counters other than Diamond has Immortality, Diamond has Blinding Light. I mean, if your opponent's not playing Diamond and you have a Life Siphon, you have enough resources to kill them with it, the game's over. They have 1 turn to beat you.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've even seen games where people, have even used Life Siphon for as little as like 3 or 4 just to stay alive for a couple attacks, and that would actually give them enough to survive to win. It's like little things that, like, no matter how you cast this card, it's never a bad time to cast it, in my opinion. Like, it seems like it always does its job, always does well.
And people are starting to wonder like why Sapphire is such a bad color right now, why it's not really getting played that much. Like they have Buccaneer, which is really good. They have all these cards which are really, really good. But Sapphire right now is kind of in a weird place. It's kind of like a mid-range deck, and Sapphire at the moment can't beat Life Siphon. So that's one of the main reasons why it's not getting played that much.
Yep.
But Counter Magic should fix that.
Counter Magic will help.
It'll help.
Like I've said
It'll
before,
certainly help.
We can't just have one counter spell. We need like 3. We really need 3, and 2 of them need to be conditional.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, sure, more counter spells. Maybe something to just. I don't know. Counter spells is another tricky thing because you don't want to put a bunch of counter spells in the game.
Yeah, you don't want to make them too powerful, and you don't want to have too many of them because that's kind of like a negative play experience for for players as well.
Yeah, I actually like Sean's suggestion of Mana Leak. I mean, I love that card. Mana
Leak isn't a bad. I mean, that's like conditional. Yeah, that's one that drops off.
Mana Leak's pretty sweet. I like Mana Leak, but like Mana Leak tends to warp formats. So in a game like Hex, where almost all the good cards, not good, but all the game-changing powerful cards cost at least 3, Mana Leak would be a little bit too powerful. Yeah. I think what they could do is create something like a Force Spike, which is just a 1-cost Sapphire card that would counterspell unless your opponent paid 1. Like something like that would be a little bit more. It's more narrow, but it could still blow people out on turn 3 and so on. So.
Okay, so that's Life Siphon, guys. 2 more cards we'll talk about real quick before we get into the rest of the tournament stuff. One is actually another gem card. I gotta find them real quick. I thought I added them in here, but I guess I forgot. It's old Gem Craze Berserker.
Gem Craze Berserker.
Yeah, this guy's it's actually been a lot stronger than what I thought he would be.
This guy is the tits.
Yeah, and like the big reason why is because obviously in Mono Ruby, if you play out like see what is it, turn 1 Savage Raider, turn 2 Ruby Pyromancer, turn 3 this guy with Haste Gem and your hero power, and that's like what, 12 damage or something? Is that what that is? It's like
12 damage on turn 3,
yeah,
and
turn
if you're on the play, your opponent can actually do nothing to stop you.
Yeah, there's there's nothing at all they can do.
Yeah,
so like
when,
go ahead, John.
I was say when me and you were testing, the Amana Ruby deck that I played against Mythic Fish Mom actually in like round 3 of the streamer tournament. We quickly realized how fast the deck can come out, mainly just on turn 3. It's like, if you're on the play, if your opponent really isn't expecting it, you could just have a Ruby Pyromancer in play as your only troop, and then all of a sudden you're attacking for 10. Like that's,
Sure.
It's super, super scary. And, in fact, I even changed my Mono Ruby deck recently by cutting all the Savage Raiders from it, and mainly just being like a turn 2 and 3 deck with a top end curve of 2 Rampaging Terras. So, I mean, the deck's really powerful, and it's actually my top choice right now for the top 8 for the Streamers Tournament.
Yeah, I know that me and you were talking, and we played that one game, and I can't remember exactly how the game played out, but I do remember it was like turn 4, and you drew your card, and you're like, how am I already at 6 life? Like, what?
Yeah,
what's
like
happening?
I was at 6 life on turn 4,
Sure.
and it's like I drew, say I drew Extinction and played it, you're like, cool, untap, play, a second Berserker, or play like 2/2 drops, or play Veteran Gladiator, and then it's like, well, shit, now I have to deal that, kill that, or I'm dead. And Veteran Gladiator is the worst, because like even if you have like the 2/4 gain life guy, they're like, I don't care, I'll make them not block, and then you play like Zoltog or something, and then your opponent has to have a second Extinction, or they're just dead.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, also the Haster guy was actually pretty impressive too. I don't know what his name is, but the one that like.
The Furious Taskmaster.
Yeah, that guy's actually.
Yeah,
really good.
he was pretty insane too. The deck just has a large number of speed troops, between the Furious Taskmaster, the troops that he gives speed from his ability, the Jim Craze Berserker, plus your charge power for your Blaze, your Blaze Elemental.
Yeah, sure. So, Charles, Frank, anything to add about the Jim Craze Berserker?
No, he's really solid. I mean, that's pretty much all there is to it. I mean, you can play him on if you went into Wild, you can play him on turn 2, which is pretty awesome too. But probably not as good as the mono. The mono red.
Steve Masterfett, thanks for stopping by, man. Appreciate it. Good luck getting your PS4, man.
Yeah, Jim Craze Berserker is probably, I would say, I don't know if he's the best troop in the Ruby deck because Veteran Gladiator is so good, but he's certainly
way better. Yeah,
he's certainly the first or second best troop in that deck. I mean, Ragefire, of course, is the best card in the deck, but this guy is very high up there as far as power level goes for that deck. Like on the surface, this guy seems kind of mediocre. With a 3-drop 3/2, like that's kind of average. But once you play with him in the context of the Mono Ruby deck, he's a lot more powerful.
I mean, and like it's not like Haste Gem's the only good gem on him. I mean, I know Zach played a deck with Jim Craze Berserker, and he gave him the flying gem and was playing like a red sapphire deck, and it was still good. Like it was a 3-drop 3/2 flyer. Like sure, why not? Like
good pick for draft. Yeah, anything that has a socket is a good pick for draft. Sure. Like you can just bank on that.
Hey, Frank, anything to add about the old Jim Craze?
I think y'all covered it. It's good.
Right,
like it a lot.
It's good, like a lot. All right. And the last card, and this card actually was a card that me and John recently played test with, and I actually thought it was really cool. I was really anxious to talk about it on the stream if I could find it. By the way, putting this on my desktop was a terrible idea. I'm not sure I could find it.
Yeah, I know you guys probably haven't seen Shaggy's desktop, but it's a nightmare.
Hey, shut up.
He has like a 50-inch monitor, and like every single inch of his screen is filled with an icon.
Here it is. Oh, Bottle Vitae. There it is. This guy. I think this card is so cool, and I'm so glad it's getting played. So, John, I want you to talk a little bit about this card, because I know when me and you play tested a lot, this card came into play quite a bit.
Yeah, okay, so this card, it used to cost 3. In fact, there it is right there, it costs 3. It currently costs 1 now, so it's much, much better. Sure. I have to give props to Havoc, because he was the very first person that I saw playing this card. I actually didn't even know that it got changed to cost 1.
I didn't either.
But I tend to watch almost everyone's streams, because like at work I have quite a bit of downtime, and I just watch streams, and so I stumbled upon Havoc.
Great job.
Yeah, it's a tough job. So I stumbled upon Havoc playing this card, and I'm like, I started thinking, wow, like, what decks can I put this card in? So, I started testing it, and Mono Wild. I'm actually even playing it in my current Mono Ruby deck. And there's a few other decks that I just tossed it in. It actually more or less replaces Secret Laboratory, like for me anyway, because of the card draw off the Vitae. But yeah, it's really powerful. Like I think it's a lot better than people give it credit for.
It's really good on the 2-cost champions like Gozog and Nin, and the champions that get to use their abilities a lot more now, because you can use your ability twice by turn 3 instead of just once.
Yeah, that's also why I added it into the Mono Ruby deck, because I was talking to Havoc again, and he suggested playing it in Mono Ruby because of the charge power on Poké. You could use Poké's charge power twice by turn 5, and it's just super brutal.
Yeah, no, I can see it.
Right. On top of that, I mean, it gets you that cantrip effect, where you're drawing a card, and so it virtually makes your deck go from 60 cards to 56 cards.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, virtually it does it. So that's really nice as well.
Yeah, but this is probably I'd say this is the card I was the most surprised. First of all, like John said, I didn't see it get changed, but once it did, me and John immediately started playing with it, and I never hated to draw it. It was just cool. It's a cool effect. It's kind of what we talked about before. It's what I like my artifacts to do. These are the kind of effects I think make artifacts awesome, and it's not overpowered. It's just neat. It's neat and it works and it's good, and I love that. So
Frank, I mean, if there was a 2-cost card that was 2-cost basic action, that said, draw a card, gain a life, gain a charge. People would play it.
Sure, I would play it. I don't think Frank would play it, but I would.
No, I love the Vitae. Let me give you a crazy combo with it if you want to get a little out on a limb. But this card inspired me to think of a way to use the Sapphire basic action called Replicator's Gambit. And what I've done with it is built a fun, I don't know how competitive this is, but it's a fun Ruby Sapphire deck that uses Replicator's Gambit and Poké's charge power. Let me let you think about that for a moment. Let that sink in for a second.
All right, so moving on. We talked about.
No, but it's great. The Replicator's Gambit. Well, okay, you make the 3/1 with speed that dies into the turn, right? With Poké's charge power.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then you play Replicator's Gambit after the attack phase. The 3/1 gets shuffled into your deck. You can help look for it with the Vitae and other draw effects, and gives you more charges for Poké. When you draw it the next time, when you play it for 2, it's 6 3/1s with speed.
Right, but
that's pretty awesome.
They still die at the end of the turn.
But you just attacked with 6 3/1s.
Oh, okay. So you could do that with
Charles is that guy that's wait, does that die to murder? Nah, we don't want to play that. What is that, 20/20 with haste? Nah. Sorry,
great team?
Nah.
They die in turn.
They die.
I just think it's a fun
They die at the end of the turn.
It's a fun combo.
Yeah, it's actually really cool. I never thought about it, but there's some really cool stuff you could do with some Sapphire Red deck where you could just keep bouncing your guy before he dies at the end of the turn and keep playing it back out. It was that troop, the 4-drop troop bounces them too.
Yes,
so there actually might be a Buccaneers. There could actually be a pretty fun way to do something like that.
All right. So anyway, I think that's all the cards.
Yeah, that's all the cards. No more cards.
All the cards in the game.
There's only 7 cards in this game, and it's still very good. But anyway, so Frank, I'm gonna kind of give it to you here for a little bit. Why don't you kind of tell everybody what we're doing moving forward with the tournament? What they can expect this week. I know you talked a little bit about last night, but why don't you kind of tell them about it and maybe refresh my memory too?
Well, first, if you need to catch up on where we are in the tournament, then you need to go to HexTcgPro.com and read John's article. It's a great recap of what's been happening, what kind of decks have been played. But now going forward, we've really reached the time where the kids' gloves are off. There's no more messing around. It is do or die time in the tournament this weekend. The semifinals of each pool are on Saturday. We're going to get started at noon Pacific time. I think, actually, John, that's your match, isn't it? I think you're going to go up against Trunk. Yep. Honestly, I feel like these two guys have developed kind of a rivalry. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Bringing it
but
up.
I think there's a kind of a rivalry there. John, you want to speak about it?
You want to talk about it?
Whatever, maybe a little bit, but...
Maybe a little bit? You never wanted to beat anybody this bad, dude.
I always want to beat everyone.
Listen,
So
John goes into every
noon
tournament
Pacific.
shooting for second.
Yeah.
Like, that guy has got more second place finishes.
Yeah, exactly. I have more second place finishes than anyone could ever hope to get. Like,
Sure.
It's actually kind of embarrassing.
So, John, what you tell us about this rivalry? Like, I feel like you're Ash and he's the other guy.
Oh my goodness! All right, I don't want to talk about any kind of rivalry. Like,
I want to talk about what you're talking about.
The guy is, I'm sure he's a perfectly fine person. I just, I had some words for the way that he conducts his stream and his attitude towards other players. So that's about it. I'm not getting into it, but sure, I would love to beat him. Like, it's fine. But like I just hope that moving forward that he might be a little bit more pleasant to his to his viewers and to his opponents.
Sure. So if you're not gonna say something, I will say this. Here's the deal. Like, no one likes to lose. First of all, no, like, I don't care who you are. No one has a giant smile on their face when they lose, unless you're like a weirdo. So, like, especially okay. Let me rephrase that. No one likes to lose in a tournament. Like, no one goes into a tournament and is like, I just want to have a good time and play against people and get crushed. So, like, whenever you played him, he was very negative, and I think his exact words to you, John, was like, you won on luck and not skill.
Right. Well, it's kind of rubbed me the wrong way. But
that sounds like a rivalry to me. Like, that sounds like fighting words.
The grudge match.
He was very frustrated that he was getting bad draws, and he just felt like I was getting extremely lucky. But whatever the case may be, like
Cobra Kai'd you.
Yeah, he Cobra Kai'd.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
exactly right.
Watch for the hip sweeping the leg. I can see it right now, dude. Like, you're gonna walk out of your house tomorrow, this guy's will run up to you, just like kick your legs out and be like.
I would be remiss as a tournament promoter if I was not building up the suspense about who's going to win. Noon Pacific time, Saturday. I've linked here in the stream both streamers' addresses on Twitch. You can go click in and watch these guys battle it out for the grudge match on Saturday at noon. And that's just the first of 4 terrific matches. I know we're still working out the specifics, but basically every hour and a half starting noon Pacific time on Saturday, we're going to have another one of the 4 matches. And these are do or die matches. If you lose this match, you're done. You're done.
Soldack's actually going to be at my house, ready to kill me right after my match.
Yeah.
No, that's just
pretty bad.
And we actually
don't open the package if you win.
If you
lose, like it's also hilarious that Trunk also uses a John Cena. You can't see this like card blocker for his cards, and he didn't even know who John Cena was, which is the best part of it.
Okay.
He's like, I don't know who this guy is. I just thought this looked cool.
Listen, here's the deal I have with that situation, and this is me, completely not biased at all, is that I had no problem with him like trolling you about luck, because you are lucky. Like, you actually can't win a game if it isn't with luck. Like, you're actually really terrible. But so I actually agree with him. I actually 100% agree with that. The thing I thought was funny was when your stream crashed and you came back. And he made the comment that you were changing your deck.
Yeah,
after you just crushed him. It's like game 1 you crushed him, and he was like,
yeah,
he's probably changing his deck. It's like, so what? Yeah, a better deck again? Like,
you can't see that unless you watch like his full stream, replay. But after game 1 or towards the end of game 1, my webcam crashed, like as it does from time to time. Like my PC, USB drives are kind of screwed up. But so I had to restart my PC in order to boot it back up, because that's the thing that works.
Yeah, AKA switching your deck.
Yeah. So when I was watching his stream, he was like, he's like, oh man, he's probably changing his deck. That's kind of shady. There's no way he should be going this long, otherwise. And it's like, I mean, I could change my deck, I guess, but I don't know why I would.
Yeah, it sounds like something Charles would do, to be honest with you.
It's like the matchup is already
I changed my deck between every match
for me. But
yeah, that mono wild changed a lot, didn't it, from day 1?
Yeah.
So Saturday we have the grudge match of the century, rivals versus rivals. They've been rivals since childbirth.
Yeah, we came out of the rivals. Even though I think he's like 16.
Well, that wouldn't work. You're like 104, so that would
exactly.
All right, so that's the first match. Frank, what's after that?
Well, we're getting the exact schedule worked out still. I know the end of the day, I think we're going to end with our Far East component. We have a Hong Kong player, You Dare You Take, is going to be taking on HexTcgPro to kind of cap off our day. And somewhere in between there, Crone, I think, and Neo are going to battle it out. And then Charles, I think you have a big match with Endormi.
Yeah, you guys, you David and Goliath me. If you look at my points and you look at his points, man... It's definitely...
Well, we seeded it off the round robin.
Charles, do you not know how a tournament seed works? What do you mean David versus Goliath?
That 1 plays 4, Charles. That's just how it works.
How it works. Saying, why you do a round robin.
I can't help it that, and Dormy just like steamrolled through your pod and just crushed everyone.
Oh my God.
So this is definitely, I guess this is my grudge match because he beat me in...
Poor Shaggy's cracking up here. He can't contain himself.
You guys did this to me. Why did you David and Goliath me? Sorry, Charles.
Well, I mean, look at Pod B. It's like Havoc has, 21 points, and You Dare You Take has 9? Like,
I feel like someone messed up the math there with that. Not, was it 21 versus 9?
Yeah, that's the...
well, we had 5 players, only 4 matches in Pool B.
Some noob left. I don't know what the hell that was about.
But it's going to be great. But the point of this is each one of these 4 matches on Saturday are going to be terrific. These guys have been putting a lot of effort into building these decks. They're going to be playing them at the best of their ability. We're going to see sideboards for the first time in Hex. I mean, the first time someone sideboards ever in the game of Hex is going to be Saturday at noon when John or when Trunk destroys the other person. 15 cards are going to come in from somebody's deck.
Maybe. Trunk was asking what a sideboard was earlier, so maybe he won't have 15 cards.
That's just cold right there, dude. That's
you should have just made it up, dude. You should be like, sideboard, that's when you take all the gems out of your cards and just play with
Cyborg is actually when you get a special implant in your head and it helps you play cards.
There you go. That's
Cyborg.
Yeah, so we have a lot of exciting things to look forward to. And let me give you guys one more thing to look forward to. Saturday night, when the matches are over, I'm going to be jumping in here on Shaggy TV with Shaggy, and we're going to recap the day. We're going to talk through the matches. We may even live shoutcast a couple of the matches. We may even have some guests on. Maybe you have a couple of the losers come on to talk about how unlucky they were.
I'll be there.
Yeah, so basically what we're just doing another version of this show Saturday night. We'll have John and Charles on. No, John will be there.
Me, Saturday night? No, I will not be here Saturday night.
Yeah, we'll see you Saturday night whenever you get crushed. And it'll be special guest, loser.
Like, even if I lose, I still won't be here Saturday night.
That's fine. We'll call you on cell phone. You can talk because you'll lose.
Okay, I mean that'll probably work. If you guys really want to call me on my cell phone, that's fine.
We're going to. Literally throughout the show, I will just call you randomly, be like, "Hey, what's up, loser? How are you?" Just leave your voicemails.
Be like, well, it feels really good to not have the weight of the world on my shoulders anymore.
Weight of the world.
Is that you, Shaggy?
Stop calling me Shaggy. I'm like, oh, that's not me. I was like. So Frank, what time are we doing this, bub? What time do you want to do it?
Well, the last match starts at 7 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Pacific. I think in Central Time, like Charles. Okay. But so it'd be 8 o'clock your time would be the beginning of the last match. So then we'd probably come on about an hour later, I would think, and maybe shoutcast a couple of games, maybe interview some players, maybe interact with the audience about the games, recap them.
I would like to get some sort of Sports Center type thing going, you know what I mean? Have some updates on the brackets and maybe go over some of the games and stuff too. Go over some of the cards that were played. We'll try to get something going good. Me and Soldack's been working behind the scenes, trying to get some stuff going. So hopefully we can have something ready by then. Of course, I'm the one doing it, so it probably won't be good, but we'll try.
Yeah, my first impression of your artwork is not as good as I was expecting from what you were saying.
I don't know what you're talking about, dude. I think it looks just like you. Actually, April walked in to get something, and she's like, "Oh, there's Soldack."
Yeah, exactly. Looks just like him. But more good news is that I talked to Corey again this week, and he is definitely going to play the winner of our overall tournament. Because on Sunday we'll have each pool champion will be decided, and then probably Monday or Tuesday night we'll have a grand champion match. And I believe I've gotten word that in early December when that match occurs, that I'm actually going to get a chance to live shoutcast it from the official HexTcg stream on Twitch. And I think that if they have a new community manager by then, I think I'm going to be able to even shoutcast it with the new community manager. So I'm really excited about that if that's all going to come to pass like that. So a lot of exciting things in this tournament.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good step forward for Cryptozoic too, to kind of draw light to these tournaments. That's something that I remember. I forget exactly who it was from Blizzard, but whenever they had the beta tournament for StarCraft 2, they kind of neglected to really promote it that much. And they said in hindsight they wish they would have promoted it a lot more, because it really did kind of kickstart esports for StarCraft 2 in America. And I think stuff like this is very good. It really kind of shows you the competitive side of the game. And I think that hopefully me and you can do a great job. I know you will. For sure, Soldack. Everything I've seen from you so far has been amazing. So I'm really excited to get to see what we can do. See if we can get to these.
So not to change the subject, but back to Corey. Like, if somehow I can win this tournament and not get second,
God, here
like
we go.
playing
see where this is going.
playing Corey is actually going to be kind of funny, because I actually played Corey at the very first WoW Nationals. So this would actually kind of be like another grudge match in and of itself, which is kind of funny.
Life coming full circle. And then
I feel like John has a lot of grudge matches. Like, maybe I think he gets along with
a lot of
people
enemies
very well.
out
Like,
there.
yeah,
That's for
I
sure.
get along with everyone.
Why-
John, I have a real
clearly,
question for you, though.
I love Corey. What?
A real question, because I want to discuss this as I'm shoutcasting you over the next few days. How are you going to feel? Tell me how you're going to feel when the grand champion of the tournament, is on the live stream of HexTcg official Twitch. Corey is sitting down, and he's sitting there facing Trunk. How are you going to feel about that?
Well, I don't know, Frank. That's
I actually hope that happens.
That's not something
I
I've
actually
come
hope-
to grips with yet.
Actually, if Trunks knocks out John, I actually want him to go forward and win the tournament, just so I can watch his point of view and to see him shit talk Corey the whole time. Just be like, this guy made the game. First of all, number one, he made it. Number two, he clearly programmed the game to shit on me. Like, I don't know. Like, it's very clear. First of all.
He can draw whatever he wants.
Yeah, he can. Look at him. What did he draw? Man, program that in.
He's got 12 Buccaneers in his deck. Oh my god.
Sure, so that would be the coolest thing. Kind of will just crank Corey into this.
I feel like there needs
Actually,
to be like
I
some sort
would
of,
give
like,
John
Dragon Ball
$20
Z,
right
like,
now if he
alternate
could crane
to
kick.
Trunk,
$20 to do what?
What Charles?
Trunks is like a Dragon Ball Z character. I feel like there needs to be like a Vegeta out there, and like some of the other like Dragon Ball Z characters. Some people need to make Dragon Ball Z characters for their stream personas. That has to happen.
Well, he said Tana will just crane kick Corey. I actually feel like this will actually be like a Karate Kid thing, like in the finals, the guy like right before you beat him, like right before you turn your 12 right
really
over
like
sideways.
a grudge match with Corey. I mean, like I said, I love Corey. Like, he's a great guy, and he's always been nothing but nice to me. It's just kind of funny because playing him at WoW Nationals many years ago was just kind of funny experience for me, because now here he is, like 5 years later, like
waiting for
the
owner of his own company, and
the owner of Cryptozoic Entertainment. It's like, cool, man.
Charles, the shit all over you, John. Owner of his own company in California, making a good living, and what are you doing? Fucking streaming in the closet.
I'm watching streams at work.
Yeah.
So, playing with
Clearly,
my
you came out ahead of that.
exclusive Kerrigan, Diablo, and Arthas, which is on sale on eBay.
Nice, very good plug. Thank you, Josh. So Frank, so that's Saturday. So obviously Saturday is going to be just John grudge match central. What is on? What do we have games Sunday? Like, what's Sunday?
Yeah, we will. We'll have the two finales of each pool.
Okay.
Those matches will be planned to win a free draft when the game goes live each, and of course the right to play each other then Monday or Tuesday for the chance to play Corey. So every match this weekend is going to be super exciting. There's no second chances. The round robin play was cool because a lot of players got to check out and try a lot of different kind of decks, tinker around to see what they really like to play. Some people didn't, Charles, but then But this match is this weekend. There's no playing around. There's no second chances. You've got to win or go home. And I think that's going to make for some really great TV that I think a lot of people are going to enjoy watching. So I hope you guys will tune into their streams and watch this on the recap on Shaggy TV afterwards, both days.
I can't wait. I'm super excited. So we're doing that Saturday and Sunday, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah, Frank, there's a question in chat that someone was asking if we had to stick with the whole deck through the entire top 8 or if we could switch.
No, just each match. Yeah, you can do what you want each match.
Now, Frank, here's a question I have for you. Why did you decide to do that? And why did you decide to let people change? Not that I'm against it. Just curious why in most tournaments, once you pick a deck, you have to play that deck. Why did you decide to let them change?
Because the fluidity of Alpha. There's things like Crash of Beasts came in the middle of a round robin play, for example.
Sure.
And I think I just felt like because things are changing so quickly, we don't know day to day even what card is now bugged and we can't use it because of the latest patch, for example. It just seemed to allow us to have the flexibility we needed to play more interesting matches going forward. And we want to see more decks. I mean, this is alpha. I didn't want to see 5 Blood Diamond control decks and 5 mono wild decks 15 times. I mean, I wanted to see some variety, and we got that, and so I'm real happy that we made that choice. I think it's been a good choice going forward. It adds a little bit to the suspense of each match. You know, what's John going to play this time against Trunk? What's Trunk going to bring out this time against John? I think it. We know Charles is playing mono wild, but what's everybody else doing? Yeah, so I think it was a good choice on that ground because this is not a traditional tournament. This is for the viewers. We're doing this so the streamers can add audience to what they're doing and people can see what they're doing and that we can promote Hex through the shoutcasted games. And again, my rule of thumb for the tournament's been whatever helps the viewers enjoy the matches the most is what we're going to do. And I've been willing to make changes. We added the sideboards, for example, based on popular demand. So
that's awesome.
I think it's a good choice. I really do. I'm happy to do it.
I think it's great. Now, is this something you're going to try to do every month? Are you going to try to have like a monthly tournament going forward, or?
Well, like, until there's tournaments in the Hex Alpha, or obviously once we're in beta, there'll be tournaments. But until they add draft, until they add something else to shoutcast in the game than just watching, let me see how many artifacts I can put on the board at once games, we'll just have to keep doing this. I think next month we're probably going to do something that has some kind of guild versus guild flavor to it. Cool. I don't know if it'll be just an all-out these guilds are playing each other as much as it'll be maybe you kind of play in the tournament and you earn points for your guild. So we'll have like maybe an individual prize and also whatever guild did the best in the tournament kind of prize. So if we have to keep doing this month after month, I'd like to keep spinning it in a different way each month to kind of highlight something great about Hex that other TCGs don't have. Yeah. And so I think maybe next month if we do a guild-flavored tournament, that'd be fun for people. Really cool. Yeah.
Awesome.
I don't know. Maybe the next month we'll have a tournament where everybody plays all 4 of all escalation cards in their deck,
Must play with all 5 shards.
Sure. Yes, 5 shard, 4 escalation card decks. Yeah.
Cool. So before we close out, guys, we're getting ready to close it out. If you guys have any questions in chat, please feel free to ask us anything. We will get to it as soon as we see it pop up. But I'll give you guys some time to do that. And in closing, I want to kind of go through here to you guys. John, what do you think are the best decks right now?
Mono Ruby, Mono Wild, and Blood Diamond.
Cool. Charles.
I'd have to agree with John, and I don't have any real good disagreements.
What do you think the 4th best deck is?
Possibly some sort of Ruby Wild variant. I don't know. I mean, Plan C is one that could just come out of nowhere, but again, it's kind of wishy-washy. So
sure, well, I agree. I mean, me and John messed with a Ruby Wild deck, and like I said, it was a lot of fun to play. It was kind of sketchy, but it was pretty fun. Frank, out of all the decks you've seen played so far, what has been your favorite decks you've seen so far?
If you just want to talk about favorite decks, I really enjoyed Neo's Sabotage deck that he ran the first round of the tournament and didn't run it again, but it was so much fun to cast that and to see those booby traps come up. Randomness does not usually lead to really competitive decks, but it leads to great matches to watch, and so I'm going to lean towards anything that makes the game more enjoyable to see it and from a spectator's point of view. So I really enjoy the Sabotage deck that Neo ran just for fun.
Yeah, for sure. I did too. I really liked the Sabotage Mill deck. It's definitely a lot of fun to play. I actually played some of it today. It's just a lot of fun, especially with the Mono Vitae that we showed with that, and then it's really fun to play because you can mill even more, and it's a fun deck. I don't think it's very competitive, especially with a deck like Mono Ruby floating around, but it's definitely, if it gets the right matchup, like if it gets up against Blood Diamond, it's basically an auto win. So it's a neat deck for sure. For sure. So you guys have anything else to say about the tournament? Anything to conclude before we get out of here?
No, I just want to add in closing. Tomorrow night I'm going to start streaming about 7 o'clock my time, and I'll be streaming until probably 10 or 11 at least. Just testing the 2 decks that I'm thinking about playing for the tournament. So if anyone wants to hang out, watch the stream, or even battle me in game, I'm always up for it.
Coming to your house, John.
Charles, anything else to add, man? Anything that you want to talk
I've got my
about
show at 8
shows?
o'clock Central Time, as always. I don't have any decks right now to Deck Doctor, so if you have one you want to send over, that would be great, or any ideas for the tournament or something you want to see. Other than that, I mean, just to try to keep it around an hour, so, you won't have to leave John for too long if you decide to come over. And then I'm sure he'll still be up. He'll be up late.
Probably. I got nothing going on tomorrow, so nothing but time.
Nothing but time. They lose. They get second. Because Trunks shits on him.
Right.
All right, so
David and Goliath. Just saying.
David and Goliath, the old slingshot. All right, Soldack, what do you think, man?
Yeah, I just would like to close with just asking the viewers, the people who watch this video later, find these streamers on Twitch and subscribe and follow their channels. When they get on, get in there. They interact with you. The streamers have been terrific about showing people new deck ideas and taking your suggestions. And I'm just real impressed with our streaming community of Hex. I mean, these guys are just doing a terrific job, and I really want to implore you to consider becoming kind of fans of their streams and support what they're doing. Tell your friends. It's really worth your time. You're going to be better. If you watch these streamers, you're going to be better when this game goes to beta. When it's time to knock heads, you're going to be better at knocking heads because you saw what these guys are trying to do.
Oh, no, Skype. No, Skype, I'm so
sorry. And I think
sorry.
we lost those guys.
No, we didn't.
Am I still here?
Yeah.
I can still hear you.
Okay.
I guess you lost me.
I got it fixed. Anyway, okay, yeah, so before we get out here, guys, I just want to say, please check out John's article. He wrote a really good write-up about the tournaments, some of the decks that he thinks are really good, some of the cards. You can find that over at HexTcgPro. It's on the front page. Also, please, guys, stop by and like us on Facebook. It would mean so much to us. Also, check out Charles' stream, John's stream, everyone else in the tournament stream. You can kind of get that from the HexTcgPro site. Go check out everyone's stream, like Frank said. Go by, like it, follow us. It really means so much to us. I can't explain how much it means to us to have you guys follow us and give us good comments and really talk about us. I can't play more than like 4 or 5 games online before I have someone thank me for all the content and stuff we make. It just means so much, guys. Like, you guys will never know how much it means. Also, Soldack, I just want to personally thank you so much for putting this tournament together. It's been a blast. It's been awesome working with you. I'm really looking forward to Saturday and Sunday. It's going to be a blast. Hopefully, we can bring these guys some content they'll like. I can't wait to cast this John Tata match. Are we going to do all the games, or are we just going to do like the last game, like we did before?
Well, it just depends on our time. I mean, obviously the third game of each of the matches is worth shoutcasting. We may pick out depending on our time, we may just do the best game of the day. We may do one game from each match. We may just get on a roll and just shoutcast away. Who knows what it's going to be? But,
dude, we're crazy, dude. It's hard to tell.
Yeah, it's on. I mean, I got nothing to do Saturday night but talk about Hex. Yeah,
for sure, for sure. Also, guys, again, I've had a lot of people ask me a lot of messages, especially Cryptozoic messages, like from the forums. People are wondering why I dropped out of the tournament. Again, I cannot tell you guys why. I really want to, trust me, but it will be worth the wait. I promise it'll be something really cool, and hopefully that you guys will enjoy. So instead, I decided to just help Soldack cast and give him whatever he needs to make sure this goes good. He for surely does not need me, but I have.
It's great to have you.
Well, thanks, man. I really appreciate that.
It's much more. I think shoutcasting is far better when there's 2 people doing it, and I sure enjoy having people to work with. I got to cast this week with Cyrus also. I'm going to do a cast coming up with Mystic Fish Mom at some point. And I think having Shaggy, you doing it with me Saturday night and Sunday night would be. I'm just really looking forward to it.
Cool, guys.
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah, and also one quick last thing. The guild is still accepting applications. We're still getting them every day. And I also sent out the first guild newsletter a couple of days ago. So if you didn't get that, please let me know, and I'll make sure to add you to the mailing list. I might have just missed you. And inside that has the information for our TeamSpeak that is hosted by Weber, which is awesome. And also I put an image in there as an attachment that is the transparent HexTcgPro logo, the one that's on our stream right now, that you can put on your stream or down in your information or wherever if you want it. So there you go.
Cool.
Yay.
Yeah, Charles, anything else to add about your show or anything?
I'm actually, so if you want to become a streamer, if you want to actually start doing some of the stuff we're doing, I'm actually going to start putting together some videos on how I do what I do. So that's going to be going up straight to YouTube. I actually won't be doing that on my show live because I want to make sure they're pretty polished. So I just started putting together one where it shows you how I put together my videos that I post out to YouTube and how I can turn those around so quickly. So if you're interested in any of that type of stuff, stay tuned and make sure you subscribe to my YouTube.
Awesome. All right, cool, guys. Well, Soldack, thank you so much, man, for stopping by once again. I just have to have you on here every day, man. You just have to be a regular.
Here in about 3 weeks, starting the week of December 2nd, we're probably going to be moving this show to the HexTcgPro official Twitch page, which is just twitch.tv/HexTcgPro. So that's happening in December. So probably 99% sure.
Cool. Probably December 2nd, I bet.
Well, that's a Monday, I think, but it'll be that week.
Sure. That makes sense. I mean, for Christmas and everything.
Yeah, exactly. That's my present to next.
Cool. All right. So Soldack, thank you again, man, so much for coming by.
Yeah,
I always have a blast. Thanks again for the tournament. It's been great. Charles, once again, sir, thank you very much. You've been a pleasure, like always. And John, you suck. And I hope you get destroyed. So. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much. You guys are all great viewers. Thank you all so much for all your support and help. Thank you for my wonderful, wonderful guests. All very sexy, especially Soldack and that new hairdo he has. This looks good. That lipstick, look good, sir. All right, guys. We'll see you next week.
That is my shade of lipstick.